Welcome to What's the Effort?
What the Effort?
All right. Hello. Now we are live. Hello, Melissa. Nice to see you. Oh, yep. Wait, did I hit record? That's a good question. Why do people make me nervous? Why do I have to press record? We're live. I don't have to record. That's on Zoom. Well, okay, my fans are turning against me. Oh my gosh, how funny. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. Today I have a very special guest. His name is Kamil Banc. And yeah, LOL to you too, girlfriend. All right. So Kamil is a very interesting person. He's joined Sub2 not that long ago, but he has a very interesting background and he's connected to the family in a couple of different ways. So one of the things we're going to talk about is his life. Where did how did it work? Where did it start? How is it? Blah, 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 blah. And then we're going to talk about adapt and create. What the heck is that about? All right. Hello, Chris. Nice to see you. All right. So we're going to start off by showing a couple of pictures. And I'm going to ask Kamil to introduce us to himself by commenting on these. So here we go.
Sounds good. Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
All right, let the show begin. I hope you can bring some order into the chaos that's called my life.
There we go. There we go. Well, what are we looking at here, Kamil?
Yeah, so I was born in Poland. This is with my dad. I have a brother, but I don't have a picture with him. I couldn't get it on the quick here. Born in Poland, raised in Germany. And that's where it all started. Back in the day, it was still a Cold War. So I told you before, I had to be smuggled over the border to get to West Germany because my parents already left. And back then, if you wanted to get a visa, you would have to leave your kid behind in order to have a guarantee that you come back.
All right. So now, I know Kamil doesn't look very old, but that is a very different time. You know, when we think of the wall still being up. So it is amazing to see what governments would do. Can you imagine having to leave your baby behind, especially one that looks as cute as that? Anyhow, so that must have been pretty traumatic. Who got you across the border? How did
my
that
grandma
go?
So my grandma, I was with her for about 6 months before she could get me over, and that's how I became her favorite. I was also the first of my generation, so maybe that played a role in it as well.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right, let's move on to another now. I have to tell you that you look an awful lot like one of the young actors that I had been following. I think his name was Rob. I'm trying to remember the last name. Was this a picture for a shoot, or is this just your life?
This is my life. I always liked motorcycles and all. That was before I actually immigrated to the United States. And I have this tradition that every time I sell a motorcycle, I shoot a last ride video. And that was the motorcycle that this tradition started with. So I have a bunch of those videos before I sell it off, and I have an emotional attachment to it. I'm actually thinking, by the way, to sell my Harley in sub two terms into the community if anybody's interested. But yeah,
Wow.
that's the background behind it. And my brother and I, we always liked photography, so it was just kind of fun.
Nice.
So that was still in Germany.
Okay, so I can imagine if you do post that in Sub2, you might get some takers.
That's not the bike, though. This is like now I ride Harleys.
Yeah, a Suzuki, but I'm talking about the post for the Harley. Come on, Harley.
Maybe. I'm still, yeah. We'll see. You guys know first.
How old were you here?
Let me think. I must have been 19, I think.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah, 18, 19.
Oops, hold on. My apologies. Okay. Yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
we're going. What's happening here? Tell us what's
Okay.
going on.
So this is where I think it actually gets kind of interesting and nerdy. So this picture doesn't mean anything to anybody without context, but this is taken on September 11th, 2011. I
Oh yeah.
already been living in Hawaii for 2 years, and I started a renewable energy company in Hawaii, straight out of university, pretty much. And so what you see in this picture is a couple of interesting gentlemen. Mostly the one that's looking at me with the glasses. His
Mhm.
name is called Jim Woolsey, I believe, or James Woolsey. He used to be the former CIA director under Clinton, and we
Wow.
actually hired him onto our board. And I told my assistant to take a photo of me. I have another one where I shake his hand, and the reason why I wanted to take a photo of that moment is because I basically, technically, I hired him without even having a work permit yet. The former CIA director. So I thought it
Wow.
was kind of funny.
You weren't
Um,
worried that he might find that out?
no, it's just like I was immigrant mindset. Just gotta keep going. Don't worry so much about things. But yeah, I think we made a little bit of a jump there because of the pictures that I provided to you. So what happened is I went to Hawaii in order to study for 1 semester, and I came back to Germany. And after finishing my bachelor's degree, I moved back to Hawaii to look for opportunities. And after a couple of months of search, I found some interesting people that I started a company with, and that kind of opened up my journey to the American dream so far.
Nice. Nice. Renewable energy definitely is something that we all need to focus on. And I think it's impressive that you actually got a gentleman of that stature to do business with you on a handshake. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, for sure.
Now, this looks
So
to me like a shoot. Tell me it's a shoot.
this was just actually this was more for myself because let's see how I can relate this to at least something that we're talking about here in Sub 2. So what I did first off, when I got to Hawaii, I was looking for opportunities, like I just mentioned. And I was basically just a broke student. And in fact, the first thing that I was looking for when I came back after I studied there, I was literally looking for a place that I could sleep if I become homeless. So I found this nice place in Fort DeRusi, which is like a chapel, and I could just sleep there if I have to. But during that time, I was also basically in a little shack in Waikiki, and I was renting out beds, not even rooms. I was renting out beds in my own apartment in order to afford being there. So I was doing Airbnb before there was Airbnb without knowing it. And
Right.
it was really fun because a couple months later, I basically find myself working on this company, and I end up living in a very, very nice apartment. And then I also had this car, which was a Tesla Roadster. It was actually the third one on the island.
Oh,
The second one was owned by the guy who published Tetris, Hank Rogers, who also plays a big role in me staying in Hawaii. And the other one was owned by the junkyard owner. And the funny thing is, back in the day when these cars needed service, Tesla actually flew somebody out, and all the Teslas, the Roadsters, would gather at the junkyard to get serviced, which is kind of funny.
oh, that's
Yeah, so,
hysterical.
so this photo was just really for me to kind of appreciate the moment that I live in. And obviously, I didn't make it yet. But if you think about just the dramatic change, that was kind of cool for me, and I just wanted to keep it that way in my memory.
To commemorate it.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a beautiful car. It's a beautiful car, and it's
it
pretty
was fun.
impressive to
But
think
honestly, I have to tell you, I was thinking more girls would be interested in that, but they weren't. Mostly, what happened is some middle-aged guys were coming up to me and asking me all kinds of questions, and I was
that's
thinking, "What is going on?" So that is also a good lesson that I learned because I don't come. My family doesn't really come from a lot of money. Actually, they do, but during World War II, they lost everything. So you always have this thirst to know how it is to live a luxurious life and, do all these things that you see on TV. And then what I really appreciate about this experience is that basically after 2 weeks, no matter what you want, if it's materialistic, after 2 weeks or so of owning it, you're good. So might as well just chill out.
Oh my gosh. Oh
Yeah,
boy.
that's the
Uh,
story behind that.
that is very interesting. It is.
Yeah, yeah. Here, I love spearfishing. We just talked about it. You're more on the scuba side of things. I love free diving, and
Mhm.
so one of the things I wanted to do while living in Hawaii is just spearfishing, surfing. You see the next photo, and yeah, just love cooking when I actually catch something.
Nice.
That's kind of like
Nice.
uh,
Spearfishing is, I would think it'd be pretty challenging. I mean, it can't just because you got to take the angle, everything, the water, all of that into account.
yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And it seemed like you were pretty good at surfing. Did you compete or any of that?
No, no, no. I didn't compete. In fact, after a while of regular surfing, I picked up kite surfing much more because it's just more peaceful because not everybody's fighting for the break. I moved a lot in Hawaii. Moved from one neighborhood to the other, and so what happens is after a couple of weeks, when you're not in your spot, people just kind of forget you, and then you have to earn it again, if you know what I mean. Like, so I was
The
just like, okay,
creds.
I'll just go kite surfing. It's a little bit friendlier.
Oh, that's sweet. That's funny.
Yeah,
All right.
that's just another shot from me on the water, shooting a really nice fish and being
There you
happy.
go. You eat it. That's okay.
Yeah.
So look at this. You have a billboard that says, looking for a new
Mhm.
home? Get out of the box and seal the deal with Kamil. I love it.
That's that's
And
right.
in the car matches. Is that the same car that you were sitting next to?
No, that's a different one. And
Yeah.
ironically, this one is actually not electric. Because
Yeah.
at that time I didn't have an electric car. But so with my background in renewable energy, I knew a lot of people in that space. And so my friends started this company. They're actually now publicly traded called Volta, those charging stations that give you a
Oh,
free
yes.
charge. And in exchange, like certain companies can advertise on them. And
Yep.
so I helped them a little bit with their sales. And as part of the deal was that I wanted to have my picture on some of them. And I
Mhm.
thought of a creative way to, uh, you know, be a realtor and basically get the eyes on me as a potential realtor for their deal if they're looking for a bigger home, for example.
Where were you? Where was this?
This was in Honolulu, so I was living in Honolulu for 10 years.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
I think that's very smart to figure that out as a perk because I can see the Volta right there, right?
yeah, that's right.
How cool is that that you get to have advertising? Did it bring in leads for you?
Honestly, not really. I think I heard Pace talk about the whole billboard type of thing. It was
Mhm.
definitely a cool conversation starter once somebody talked to you already, and a little bit of a credibility boost, if you will. But direct leads out of that, no, unfortunately not.
You got to try, otherwise you don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Oh yeah,
So
here. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
here we see another sales tactic. Interesting.
Yes. So referral business, right?
Yeah.
Working with agents. So yeah, that's pretty. I mean, you see it on the picture. I was offering spearfishing lessons and a commission for referrals of either from other realtors, I believe, or from just regular folks. But even though I think the regular folks, they're not allowed to have the commission, so
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think it shows down there that with the little asterisks, you got to have a license in order to do that.
Got it.
Yeah, so
Did,
just
did this bring you any kind of referrals? Did it work?
yeah, actually, yes, believe it or not, this was much more effective than the billboard. So I got a couple of deals done that way, and it just helped me staying in people's mind. So even past when I didn't have my license anymore, I still did deals with people based on some of those marketing tactics that I used back then.
Cool.
Yeah.
Was this for your
So
car?
this was a reminder to myself that at that time, like I told you, this was still during the first venture that I was on, so the photo skipped a little bit. So when I was doing my first real renewable energy company, it was a very venture capital heavy back deal. And at one point, I literally ran pretty much out of cash. I think I have like $5 in my hand or something. But at the same time, I still had the keys to like luxury apartments, this Tesla, and some other cars and all that funny things. So also, again, a reminder to myself that not everything that sparkles is gold. And oftentimes when you see online, people portray themselves with a crazy life, they can still be broke. And I was pretty much broke at that point, but you would never guess. It's actually that much, it came that much to the point that a partner company, an engineering company, they would address me as the richest poor guy in Hawaii. And I'm still thinking to this day, maybe I should write a book about that too, because it would be kind of funny.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, well, it doesn't seem like it stopped you, which is the important thing, for it not to
Never
stop
stop.
you. Yeah. But what's going on here? This isn't you, is it?
No, that's not. No, I'm the one with the chips.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So-
Now I see why you included this picture.
Yeah. So yeah, of course.
Mhm.
I do have to say that poker actually taught me a lot in terms of mindset when it comes to how to use money, how to use, and also how to play the hand that you are dealt rather than just complaining. So it holds a dear place in my heart. I actually was sponsored and was playing at the WSOP one time, and it was really a great teacher in my life, poker. That's why I wanted to include it. And then obviously I was doing all kinds of underground games in Hawaii as well.
Oh, that's funny. Did the casinos dislike you?
No, not at all. I wasn't that good in Vegas, and this is actually a private event at home.
Gotcha.
So yeah. No, they love me
Interesting.
because I brought my investors.
How funny. How funny. All right. This is a beautiful picture. Is that your dad and brother?
No. This is
Where's this?
actually so a little bit of a background. After the renewable energy company in Hawaii, it didn't work out. It was about 2.5 years of work that we put in. Talking to politicians, business leaders. It was a very big company that was essentially trying to get Hawaii off of fossil fuel. So everybody had to be involved, but it didn't work out. What it gave me, though, it gave me a big network in the state, and that just made me stay there because I figured, okay, well, maybe it's not the best place to be when it comes to business, but I have something here that a lot of people don't. And so I got more and more into helping other people start their companies, also building accelerator models and venture capital networks over there, as much as you can say that. And after many startups that I was having a more or less active role in, I started a company with my brother, which is the handsome guy on the right. And he's the world's biggest fragrance influencer. And I kind of
Cool.
helped him to get there, but most of it obviously is his own on his own accord. And in 2018, we decided to launch a fragrance company together. And the gentleman in the middle is literally the Michael Jackson of fragrance perfumers. His name is Alberto Morias, and he helped us create the actual fragrance. And
Oh, interesting. The Michael
yeah, so
Jackson of fragrance industry.
yeah, and I'm not even joking. Like, if you look him up, you'll see all the fragrances that he's created, and he's definitely up there. Yeah, and then we were able to, with a little bit of marketing tricks, and not really tricks, but just storytelling and focus, we were able to sell $1 million worth of fragrance on Kickstarter, actually. So it's public, and without anybody ever smelling it. So yeah.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
So
You sold.
we were able to sell $1 million worth of fragrance before anybody ever smelling it. And how did we do it? We did it by focusing on the benefit that the fragrance gives the owner, the why, so to say. So oftentimes you hear that, maybe Simon Sinek talks about this, focus on the why. But what does that actually mean? Now, in our example, it means that we were able to create this fragrance, and with our story of our company, we wanted to make it easy for people to find the right fragrance for the right situation. So all we did was we created a first release called Office for Men. And essentially what that means is if you're a guy and you work in the office or a similar environment and you want to get compliments, then you buy this fragrance. I don't care if you like it or not. This is not the purpose of you liking it. The purpose is that you're buying the compliments and not the fragrance. And it worked and had really great reviews, and it's still good.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that you can actually convince guys, that this is what they need and they shouldn't think about it. They should just buy it, be into it. I think that's awesome.
And you know what? I catch myself, just to make it relevant to sub 2, I see a similarity here too, because really the main challenge seems to be education, just bringing it up to people and making them understand how good of a service or product this is. And you don't have to worry about the product because you're not selling something where you feel like, oh, I know it's not a good thing, but I'm still trying to sell it. No, it's actually really good for everybody involved, minus the banks because they're not involved, right? So that's why I liked about sub 2 initially as well.
Awesome. Is your brother younger or older?
Yeah, he's younger. He's 4 years younger.
Okay. Very interesting. I'm glad that we got to see that. And I never would have thought that you could sell $1 million worth of fragrance before anyone smelling it, but you live and learn. And I think it's pretty powerful for the marketing. That's really commendable from the marketing point of view. Oh, this is awesome. This is beautiful. Tell us about it. Who are these gorgeous people besides you?
So this is my family. This is my family. This is my wife, Alexis, which I think Pace knows actually. My little son on the right above me, his name is Conrad, and then my daughter, Kinga. And yeah, we live in Jupiter, Florida now. And obviously there's been quite a jump from the last picture to here, but those are my loved ones. And
who's older, Kinga or what did you say your son's name was?
Conrad.
Conrad. Who's older?
Kinga is older. She's turning 5 on Wednesday.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Wonderful. How beautiful. And I have to say, you guys you just look wildly gorgeous American family.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And
thank you.
Okay, so when was this? How recent was it?
This was just this Halloween, so just a couple days ago.
Yeah. So how does Pace know Alexis?
So Alexis is the co-founder and CEO of QuickBrain, which is Jim Quick's company. If you guys remember.
Oh yeah. The
book recently, right? So
yeah, that's this year.
There you go. And so that's Jim Quick with his book. Maybe some people from the community remember a few days ago, Pace actually was kind enough to buy some books and distribute them among us. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so I'm helping them out mostly in terms of AI. So I'm trying to be on the lookout for them if there's certain technologies that can improve their internal workings, but also when it comes to learning in itself. And that's what I was talking about on stage at the book launch event a couple of days ago, how learning will benefit from AI.
Okay. That is a very worthwhile topic. Can you touch on that a little bit more?
Yeah. What would you like to know? There's so much. Like, ask me a question.
Well, I know that you have kind of jumped in a little bit on that, and that you used AI to publish some children's books, right?
Oh, yeah. That's pretty much how it started. So along with all the stuff that I just talked about with my journey in Hawaii, before I came to Hawaii, I was actually a consultant next to my university time. And so I was always a consultant, a business consultant. I think it's amazing if you get paid to learn, essentially, and then pass your learnings on to the client. And so I was always doing that. And then about a year and a half ago, I incorporated more and more AI. And the way I started was one morning on a Friday, I think my wife and I, we had a coffee, and I just like to throw myself into some challenges that I come up with. Um, and I told her, you know what? Today I'll write, illustrate, and publish my first book. And she's like, what are you talking about? Like another one of those ideas. And then 4 hours later, believe it or not, I had my first book, which is a children's bedtime story book that teaches you 10 different virtues. So with 10 different stories. And I had it written, illustrated, and published. And it's been a wild ride ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I know in trying to set this up with you last week, you had to run because you were going to talk at was it a conference on education?
That was at the book launch event, the last photo.
That was the book launch event that you were going to?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's so interesting. Very interesting indeed. And when you started working with AI, were you already working with Jim Quick's organization, or how did that happen? That dovetail?
No, I mean, like I said, my wife is the co-founder and the CEO, so I always had like I saw what they're doing, and I'm always curious. But obviously, you need to have at least I think it's good to have a certain distance with especially with my wife is there. I don't want to like step on anybody's toes. But then this March, the three of us, Jim, Alexis, and I, we went to Dubai to look for more opportunities in that part of the world, and we started talking. And Jim and I really had the first time some one-on-one time, and we just talked about things and how I could maybe help out. Initially, I actually started analyzing their company by conducting employee interviews and just to see how to what roles need to be hired and things like that. And then I just gradually added the AI component, which is obviously, I mean, it's exceptional when it comes to increasing productivity and but also at for info products, which is what Jim is doing, you can actually increase just the value of your offering itself.
Yeah. I'll bet. And I don't know how many of you guys saw, if you're in Gator, Pace announced, at least in Gator, I haven't seen it in Sub 2 yet, that he's bringing Jim on Friday.
Friday, right? Yeah. My wife just told me.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's Sub 2 and Gator or just Gator. I saw it in Gator, so I haven't.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's probably just Gator. I'm
Yeah,
curious.
which is pretty cool. Well, it's incredible to see what Pace has done for us, and also for because he believes in Jim and he likes him, to sponsor us for books. And I got on the list. I hope I get one, but if I don't, I'll just go out and buy it. but it's a very nice thing that he's doing both for Jim and for us. So that's pretty cool. I'd like you to talk about this motto that you have to adapt and create. You chose the James Bond for your movie advert, which was cute. And I thought it was interesting that when I made a little error, you pointed it out, and I was glad you did. But I want you to talk about the importance of brand and how you came up with adapt and create. What does it mean?
Okay, so well, first of all, to the photo, like I said, I like poker, so that kind of made sense. And the funny thing is, I think I told you about this. The movie that this was recorded at, the hotel where the movie was recorded at, is also the hotel where my wife and I got married. Then that's in the Czech Republic in Karlovy Vary. So I thought it was kind of fun to just add that this way, like a little hidden message. I love Easter eggs.
Yes, or the Russian dolls, right? The whole concept
the matryoshkas.
of uncovering something and finding something else.
Yeah. Okay, adapt and create. In short, it actually started maybe year 3 or 4 of me being in Hawaii, and I was working on a lot of things, like including the renewable energy company. Then I was actually teaching at a school also renewable energy related things. And there was just a lot of things. And at one of these events, it was a luncheon. I had this reporter. We were just sitting next to each other, and you know how it goes, right? What do you do? What do you do? And I just kind of got sick of always repeating the things that I do. And so that moment, just where I just realized, okay, what could I put as my life motto in case anybody ever asks what you do? Obviously it's not going to encapsulate everything, but what is kind of like a meta description? And so I was going through my life, and I was thinking back to my childhood. For example, in Germany, when I moved there, I was a Polish kid, and where I was living, there was a lot of German kids, obviously, but there were also a lot of Russian kids and a lot of Turkish kids, but not a lot of Polish kids. And so while this wasn't always the most fun time, because you don't really have one tribe that you belong to, but what I realized is that a lot of those kids from the Russian and from the Turkish subcultures, they wouldn't really do very well in society and in school, because they would always stay among themselves. And so what I like is to, just like when I come to America, just go to an environment that you want to be part of, and then adapt to it in order to be able to create value within that environment. And so that's kind of like, with a couple of shortcuts, obviously, that's how I arrived there. And I written it out in Latin first, like adaptare et creo, but nobody understands that. So I was just like, okay, let's just go with adapt and create.
Did you have to learn Latin?
No, because in Germany, I was actually, my parents got divorced right at the time where they give you a recommendation which school to go to. So there are 3 different tiers: the
Okay.
smart ones, the average ones, and the dumb ones. And I was with the dumb ones, and so they don't offer that there. You're lucky if you get English class down there.
Well, that's hysterical. Well, I guess you'd have to adapt and be able to create there.
Yeah, but honestly, oh my god, this is. I wish I could talk more about this, but I don't want to like blow up the topic too much. But one little thing. First of all, I'm very lucky, and I'm very glad that it went that way. What I mean is, going through like the school of hard knocks, so to say, like with the dumb people, not really dumb, but because you get much more street smart from there. And
Mhm.
the good about the German system is that you can always work your way up. And I actually ended up at the highest tier later on, with a couple of shortcuts too, through some mentors. But the funny thing is that back then, every time when you see a kid graduate from like the highest tier, they what happens, the tradition is they get like their first car, and then they put the class of so and so and what school they went to. And I
On
swore
the
to
car?
myself, I'm sorry.
They put that on the car?
They put it on the back window of the car,
I
right?
see.
So
Okay.
like class of so and so, and
Yep.
yeah. And so I swore to myself, one day I'll have a badass car, and I'll put like the lowest type of school and the year that I graduated from it. And I actually have that picture of me with the Tesla. And so people in Germany, they are the ones who get this. And it was
Mhm.
kind of funny.
Oh, that is so funny. That is
Yeah.
hysterical. And it's a good way of taking a look at, the situations. Why accept, the stuff that we've been stuck with, and how do you deal with life? Because we all have some challenges. And I happen to think, I agree with what Melissa's saying, that creativity is an incredible value, because had it not been for creative people, it's a bore. It's a bore. Mathematicians and just scientists are also creative in different ways. Yeah, so for
Mhm.
sure. Now, what about the concept of a brand? You're evolving. You have changed, and you've come quite a long ways. And now you're in real estate. So you've been in real estate for a little while, but talk to us about, what you're expecting from your brand, and what you're expecting in sub 2 as far as real estate. Where are you going to go?
Yeah. So, well, I'm not going to pretend like I have it figured all out, because to me, figuring out my personal brand is really something that needs to take some time. But most importantly, I have to focus on what do I want to communicate and what not, because there's so much that I could talk about, but it's just gonna like like jello, right? So it's not gonna be beneficial to anybody. So we'll see about that. In terms of real estate, I don't actually see myself as much in real estate joining Sub2 as I see myself in creative deal making, because that's essentially the essence that really got me interested. My wife actually met, like I said, Pace at some of the events a couple times, and she was texting me, "Hey, you should check this guy out and what he's teaching. I think that would be something you're interested in." And she doesn't say that often because we're among those types of people oftentimes, and you kind of get a little numb to it, like the motivational stuff and all. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it's kind of like you get used to it. And so when she told me that, I was like, "Wow, this is amazing! This is exactly what I want. This creative deal making, thinking outside the box, and just getting things done in a way where they're not commonly done. This is almost like the most American thing that I've seen in a while, and that just kind of spiked my interest. So that's that. And in terms of my brand, what I hope to do is talk more about, hopefully, well, right now I'm actually trying to, and maybe you tell me what you think. So since I haven't acquired a business yet, but that's what I would like to do, I am trying to launch like follow me as I buy my first business type of journey, where I
Mhm.
really go through all the steps, even the research, but also maybe potentially calling potential sellers and just things like that, to up to the point where I buy my first business. Then we'll see where that goes. Yeah, so that's where that is at.
So are you in the Zero Down
No,
program?
I'm still trying to. So if anybody sees that, please reach out. I need 50 friends. It takes so
Okay.
much time.
I know it does.
Yeah,
I know it does, although once you've been in for a while, that comes. And you
yeah.
reached out pretty quickly. Um, I first met Camille because I made a post. I had a need to get a landing page. And I was like, who knows how to put up a small website? I need help. And Camille literally was the very first one and made himself fully available. And it's not like a robust, entire website, because that's not what I needed. I just needed a, a domain, and I needed to get a landing page up so I could get a bank account, start the bank account for the business. And so you didn't hesitate in reaching out at all. And I'm sure that this will help a little bit, being on here to just get some visibility. And we have some recommendations. Melissa says, get off your duff and attend a live meetup. That's the
Already done
fastest
so, and
way.
I'll do more. Absolutely agree. Yes, we went actually. I went to the South Florida Halloween meetup. That was really fun,
Good.
and it
Good.
reminded me how bad my hearing is, because I absolutely, if you see me at a party and there's loud music, I don't hear you. It's probably from the diving.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Okay. But I do think that the Zero Down is a very good program to be in, as
Mm.
well as, I don't know, have you connected or seen Abraham Gray yet?
I have connected with him on Instagram, and I actually I asked him for his address where I could send him a package. And then what I did is I'll just show you right here. I have it. I made him a package with about 10 of those books, which is one of my books about AI for CEOs, for his
Nice.
operators of his businesses. And then I sent him also 4 of these, which is an adult coloring book for the ones that are not performing that well. And so I said,
Oh,
I
he'll
sent
probably enjoy that.
well, but I don't think he got it, or at least I know he got it, but I don't think he opened it yet, because what I did is I did a handwritten note, and yes, I still write with my hand with a fountain pen, and like to kind of
Good.
get your attention. And then what I did on top of that, I basically I recorded a Loom video, and then I turned this into a QR code and stuck it right next to the note. So when he scans it, I know that he saw it, but I
Nice.
didn't see it yet that he saw it. So I guess he was too busy.
Okay. We'll have to see where this is on the recording. I'll have to make sure that he does respond. Yeah. Pansy says, I'm interested in those books.
Yeah, just type in my name on Amazon. The AI book is actually for free, so you can just download it when you have a Kindle.
Well, that's good. Having a free electronic book is a good way to learn. I want to make sure that we also know how to connect with you. So this is Kamil's YouTube, just at Kamil Banc.
Yeah.
And then you also have, what have we got? Linktree or LinkedIn. Okay. All right, guys. I will drop these in the chat in a second. What's this one too?
That's Twitter, now
Oh,
called X.
sorry. Ever
I know.
since Twitter came on, I was like, any place that's called Twit is a twit. I'm not getting on, and I've never gotten on. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
I
That's
honestly, I just started playing around with it. I have like 100 followers there, so it's not really anything. But I do think that there might be some validity to the platform. We'll see. But I'm actually
okay.
most active on LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, let's go get that LinkedIn link and get it out into the chat and make sure that everyone can get it, which is pretty cool. The other thing that I had seen, I think was, wait a second. Ugh. Okay, that's not very friendly, is it? Okay,
I
hold on
think
a
you can
minute.
remove the everything after the K bank.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. No, remove it after the. Okay, gotcha. All right, including the question mark.
That can be removed too. But you
Okay.
can also just Google me, then you'll probably find one or two ways to connect if you'd like to. And on Facebook as well. Obviously, I'm in sub 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that sub 2 would be one of the best ways if you guys are in sub 2, folks, to get a hold of Kamil, because he's in there. It's the way it goes. So for sure, I was over on Facebook and realized I was missing everyone. Hi, Nisha. Yeah, I would say that YouTube definitely gets more of a crowd. Although it's interesting to me that I see a lot of times people building up after the show, because not everybody,
Mm.
especially right now coming into, the holiday, it can be a little bit demanding of our time, to get in here.
Of course.
So, and I love everything about renewable energy. Okay, that's good. That's good. Uh, wow, Pansy's giving you her stamp of
Thank you so
approval.
much. I feel
Thank
like
you,
I'm mostly
Pansy.
confusing to most people because
That's so funny. Well, not everybody is born, on the wrong side of the wall. Forget the wrong side of the tracks. Because being born in Germany and being in the not free part is not so cool.
yeah,
It's difficult. So I'm glad that you were able to get out of there. I'm glad that you were able to reunite with your parents and that you lived a nice life in Germany. And then being able to go to Hawaii and get that kind of exposure, I think it's wonderful. It puts you in contact with what the States is. And most people of the world are curious. What is
mm,
America? And when they can come here, especially as a student, because you're somewhat protected, you're seen as special. You're still being poured into. The university, the college, the people around you are supporting you. So you get to see it, I think, from a pretty nice point of view, especially since
mhm,
you're young and you can sort of still be flexible, but at the same time be open to what's going on.
right.
So yeah, I think that's pretty cool that you did that. And how did you meet Alexis, your wife?
I met Alexis while I was dating this other girl, and we actually I went to Poland for my cousin's wedding, and she came with me. And she and Alexis were acquaintances. And hold on. So we
I'm
met, and
listening.
Alexis had a boyfriend at that time as well. And we just sat down and uh, had a great dinner, everything good. And then a couple months later, we're both out of our respective relationships. And yeah, Alexis and I, we just kind of connected over Facebook. I always tease her because I tell her, you know what, you actually reached out to me first because you posted this very sad profile picture of yourself, black and white. So you were just asking for me to ask you if you're okay. And that's how we picked it up.
That's
And then we had a long distance relationship. I was living in Hawaii, and my wife, who was born in Korea, raised in New York, she was living in Poland. So it's like the
wait.
long,
Wife was born in Korea and raised in New York,
yeah, when she was
and
10
then
or 11, yeah,
she was living in
Poland.
Poland.
Yes. And I was living in Hawaii at that time.
Wow. So truly international.
Yeah, yeah,
That's nice.
yeah.
That's nice. Hey, what about the kids? Do they get citizenship from the different countries you guys are from?
Yeah. My daughter, Kinga, was actually born in Vienna in Austria, and we got her German passport right away and her American passport. And yeah, same goes for my son, even though Conrad, is the first Banc born in America. So
That's
special as
cool.
well.
You've got everything covered. What about Korea? Do they have any eligibility for Korean citizenship? What are the rules? I
We
should
didn't
know
really
them.
look into it. Yeah, we didn't really look into it because my wife, she's American, and I don't know
Mhm.
how that works.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, as long as it's South Korea, we're okay.
it is.
We want to stay away from North Korea.
Yeah, yeah.
Not a good idea at all. Okay, pretty cool. Tell us about the kind of business that you think you might like to venture into. Have you focused on that yet? Or is it just, you
I
want to own a business?
Well, I really like to follow the likes of Cody Sanchez and what she's talking about. I think it makes a lot of sense when
Hmm.
it comes to boring businesses. I would like to focus on like the retiring generation that doesn't necessarily have kids who want to take over the business, but the business should have a track record, 5+ years operating and
Hmm.
cash flow. Ideally, a team that's already managing it to a certain extent, but at the same time, something that is still using a fax machine, for example, right?
Yeah.
So, because the way I would like to tie this thing that you call my life together in this regard is that I would like to use my consulting and especially the AI knowledge to then, let's say, double the revenue if it's possible, right? And there's plenty of people who are already doing that, and that's something that's really interesting to me. Yeah. And in the meantime, not to kind of let the whole sub 2 thing go, I come to the realization that I guess wholesaling makes the most sense to just get the reps in to go through a couple of deals. So I've talked to a lot of the members here to kind of fill certain roles because I don't want to do everything myself. I was kind of interested in Gator, but you know how it is. You kind of have to just pick your poison, and I think it's going to be wholesaling for now for me. And because you can't just buy a business just like that, you have to plan some time. I would
Hmm.
like it to happen maybe by summer next year, but
Nice.
we'll see.
Nice. Going back to the idea of whether you should, what you might be able to do in regards to starting the journey, I do think there's value in showing, like, what are you doing beforehand, like right now, that
Mm,
you are going to be going on a journey and it starts now, and you realize you've got to make today money. You're going to be doing wholesaling, but you're starting down this path. And whether it's live or not is a different story, because I think that there's probably moments that would be really, really helpful for people to see. But you know how some people do live calls, that sort of thing? I think
mhm,
it would be a little hard to do something on a very regular basis just
mm,
because of how much grinding there will be, how much
yeah.
research there's going to be, how much up and down. But if you took a maybe every like twice a week, in the middle of the week and the end of the week, just to think about, well, what lessons or what spots are worth putting on a diary, of some
Mm,
sort, but visual, where you talk to your audience and say, this is what's happened in the first part of the week, or this is what's happened in the last part of the week, and maybe bring on some of the people that it happened with, and then just keep building it.
Yeah.
I think that at the end, when you get to the business, and then that's actually the start, isn't it? Because then you got to go inside the business.
That's right.
Once you've done that part, I think then you can go back and really take a look at the lessons learned and really make it of value, because I do see that you are on, a little bit of the cutting edge on AI and education. Here you were, renewable energy, when you were young, right at the beginning part. So if you want to share this sort of information with people, I do think building an audience is very, very possible for you. Oh, and tell everyone what happened with the Facebook page.
Oh my God, yeah. So yesterday, another one of those random things. So a couple of years ago, I actually started the Facebook page for my brother, who's the fragrance guy. And yesterday, well, going back, my brother actually never uses that page. All he does is this automatic share from the Instagram account that just goes there, and that's pretty much it. But yesterday I got alerted by Facebook that it reached 1 million followers. I'm like, oh, that's great. What can I do with this now? I have to think, because list building and all that type of stuff is great. How do I integrate that, right? So we'll see about that. But then also what you said in terms of content, I definitely, if you have some ideas or somebody else has some ideas, the channel that I just turned into my own name channel on YouTube is mostly talking about my experience with AI. And in fact, I haven't really posted there for a while. And I'm trying to see how I could pivot that more into what I'm doing now. Obviously, also including AI, but more relating to business, creative finance, and those types of things. So we'll see. That's my challenge right now.
Yeah, that would be definitely challenging and interesting, but I think you could do it. I think you can do it because you've got AI to help you, right? So you should be able to kind of get them to. It should be a lot less work. I mean, I manually have to do everything because I'm so not cool at it. I'm really low on the curve.
You just gotta try.
Yeah,
it's easier than ever.
I am. And I do have to say that it is building. I'm sure that if I had, the numbers in mind as the most important thing, maybe I would have built faster, but I'm just kind of doing it in spite of myself. I'm realizing, wow, I get to talk with people like yourself, that have very interesting backgrounds and that I can ask any question. Like,
Right.
you have to answer it honestly.
Okay.
How much money do you have in your bank that you can send me?
Actually, I just took out $50,000 because I don't trust the bank.
Okay, I'll take it. No,
It's not in my bank. It's under my bed, just like a traditional immigrant would have it.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah, of course, I'm just joking, but it is interesting to be able to ask, like almost anything within reason, and I get recommendations from one person to another. So yeah, and how can I help you more?
Uh, I'm just here to learn right now. That's really, I really think, I don't want to sound like I'm telling other people what to do, but I think it's kind of disrespectful to just come into a new room and start asking questions before you actually take your time to see what's already available to you. So I'm a little hesitant to ask for help, but from what I've seen so far, I could definitely use, in terms of like, I would love to be around people that do everything that's somewhat business related, even in real estate. We talked about this before. When I get to the buy and hold portion of my investment in real estate, I would very heavily lean towards group homes, sober living, everything that's unlicensed in that regard, because to me, it just feels more like a business and it comes more natural to me. So
Right.
anybody who's doing these things, and everybody who is obviously into business acquisitions and zero down, I would love to be, within that circle and learn, and then quickly become hopefully a valuable asset in that circle as well.
All right. Okay. I got it. I think that we're going to need to post in Facebook that you are now available, and to put a link to our, interview here, and get you in touch with people who are doing that. Honestly, the best thing is Facebook and Discord in Sub 2, for sure. Nisha is already stepping up. I'd love to connect with Kamil. Okay.
Thank you. Let's do it.
Okay. So, Nisha, you know what to do. Reach out, and I'll take a 50-cent commission.
You got it.
I'm just joking, but it is nice.
We got to up those numbers, Effie.
That's all right. Just like, I'm sure you'll be a valuable asset for sure. Yep. And yep. Okay. So Pansy wants to connect with you too. So that's cool. Definitely. Pansy, I don't think you're in Sub 2, are you? Are you in Sub 2, Pansy? Let me know. Yep, got it. Sweet. LOL. Okay. I think Pansy would have to reach out to you on Instagram or YouTube, something of that sort.
Mind.
Yeah. But we can, so she says not yet.
Yeah. LinkedIn is good too.
And LinkedIn is good too, for sure. So yep. I really appreciate your time, and I'd like to say thank you very, very much. Any last moment questions or comments from the audience, or from you to them?
Thank you for being here. I'm really honored to be on your podcast, Effie. It's been a pleasure to, get to know you. And that's pretty much it. I love the community. You guys are awesome. And it feels like a place where what I like about this community the most is that it feels like a place where your effort doesn't go unnoticed. You know what I mean? Like, I love to add value to people, but oftentimes it's just like goes into the abyss and it never comes back. And with this community, it feels like you guys are really taking care of each other. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Pace expects this. And I think that's part of our, makeup, genetics, so to speak. I appreciate it. And I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. And Kamil, if you could just hang tight after the outro, I'd like to get some feedback from you.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
So at this point, we're going to say goodbye, and we'll see you all next week.